All right, here I am. Project Bodybuilding, back with the Arnold Classic UK live stream. So this is day one, and this includes, for this channel, Classic Physique Finals and Open Prejudging. There are a couple women's divisions in there, but I don't really cover that. So yeah, those are the two things we'll be looking out for tonight. Classic Physique Finals, and then Open Prejudging. Okay. So Bob has not taken the stage yet, so that means day one finals, day one night show has not really kicked off yet. So let's go ahead and talk about what did happen this morning. And really the only thing of note that happened this morning, at least for this channel again, is the Classic Physique prejudging. So let's see if I can pull up the full call out here. Definitely a competitive show. That's going to be sideways. Okay. Not a super good video there. Okay. Well, we'll talk about them individually. So this was really coming down to a four-man show, and I put this poll out in the chat. Those four men, we had a top four call-out being Michael Daboul, Urs Kalecinski, in no particular order, Brion Ansley, and Wesley Vissers, the champion from the Arnold Classic, Ohio. So basically, the gist of the story from this morning's prejudging was this is an extremely competitive show. Wesley is probably slightly leading the pack, but not really by a whole lot. I think everyone in that top four call-out did have a case to win. Even Brion, who got snuffed last time all the way down in fourth in Ohio. I think Urs, who was definitely off at Ohio, has an argument to win. And Michael's maybe the least compelling, but I think it's still there. I just don't think he's the most classic. But let's go ahead and start with him. So I presume he's going to be in fourth. He was still in that top four call out, but I presume he ends up in fourth. This is simply because he has everything except the classic shape. So he's very developed for this division. Very muscular for this division, and he's very shredded. Obviously, that's his calling card. But that classic shape is missing, and by quite a bit. He has a small waist, he can pull a vacuum and all that, but he doesn't scream really golden era at all. And that's going to be his main problem going forward. But like I said, great bodybuilder, good condition, great body parts, very complete head to toe. But that's not all there is to it, especially in classic. If this was open, I'd say he'd probably be close to being the winner, honestly. But he's not quite there. Okay. Looks like they are kicking off the Arnold. It's a bit loud. I'll turn that down. Let's see here.
Not every legend is a myth. Some are flesh and blood.
Here we have Steve Reeves, Mr. America and Mr. World, 1948.
Reg Park is acclaimed the man with the best developed body in the world.
Some legends walk among us. But they aren't born. They're built. Legends are made from iron and sweat, mind and muscle, blood and vision, and victory.
I fear no man.
Legends are champions. They grow. They win. They conquer. There's a legend behind every legacy.
Okay, so they just had a little intro there. Bob's going to take the stage right now, actually. I assume they may start bring the classic guys out for routines, but we won't get classic results probably until the very end. But we can still watch the routines and discuss competitor by competitor. Let's take a listen in here.
And bucked up. So everybody's tuning in, folks, and we've got a great show lined up for you here tonight. But just 2 weeks ago, we started off the season with the Arnold Classic Ohio, celebrating 36 years of excellence. You saw some of the best in the best, and those very athletes are here tonight. Some of them, new champions, others returning and defending champions. And we're going to see those finals right on the stage here tonight. Folks, for those that were at the prejudging today, who was at the prejudging? You saw some great athletes cross that stage there, of course, are here tonight, along with your prejudging for the men's open. And we've got another battle on our hands, of course, as the UK's own Samson Dauda and Hadi Choopan are back at it again. And we're going to see them duke it out here tonight at the prejudging. Folks, this competition is sponsored by and sanctioned by the IFBB Professional League under the direction of our Pro League president, Mr. Jim Mannion. Your head judges for the event, Mr. Steve Weinberger, Ms. Sandy Williamson.
Yeah, Skip, you're able to hear this time. I figured it out. Brahma word, guess I'll risk it. Absolutely.
Director is Mr. Brion Powers, and of course, your show promoter, none other than Arnold himself, who's here tonight. We'd also like to thank our top sponsors for the expo here today. That, of course, is Panada, the best sports equipment in the world, and Young LA. I don't know.
Young LA actually sponsoring the bodybuilding event. How interesting.
Set up there with sand and everything. Jake Cutler was there, 4-time Olympian. We've got lots of superstars here tonight, folks. So, without further ado, the athletes are lined up and ready. The judges seated and in place. Fans here in the UK, are you ready? Nope. Only about half of you are ready. Arnold says if you're all not ready, he will terminate each and every one of you. All right. What do you want? You want the big over-the-top intro, folks? Is that what you're waiting for? Okay. Fair enough. It's a big show, right? All right. Here we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bodybuilding fans of all ages, especially all the great fans of Arnold here in Birmingham, are you ready?
This is interesting.
All right, folks. Well, as I said, we had a great prejudging earlier. You saw some of the best.
There's apparently no commentating in the morning show, and it doesn't sound like there will be any tonight.
Round tonight, the finals and some of the best routines you've ever seen. Some high-flying, death-defying, electrifying action, and that's going to start right now. Please welcome your first competitor. From Wetumpka, Alabama, please welcome Tiffany Chandler.
So they're starting with fitness routines. So respectfully, I'll be back to that later. Let's keep breaking down the classic physique division. Like I said, basically, I'll keep Michael Daboul short and simple. Very muscular, very conditioned, doesn't have that classic element. He's still always going to do good because he's kind of in that undeniable range. Like, I mean, he does bring a lot of muscle and brings the best conditioning on a classic stage, which is no small feat. All these guys in classic get in stellar conditioning, but Michael just takes it a step further. So I see him in fourth. I think these guys, especially against the top guys, he could walk into most pro shows and still do very well, like as in win the show. But for these top guys, when you have the shot, with the size, the shape, and conditioning, it obviously beats it out when he only has two of those things, being size and condition. So I see him in fourth, unless someone majorly screws up at finals. But I don't see him outside of fourth at all. I didn't really see anybody that was even close to these four guys. But they're all very close to each other. So now, in third, this is a little interesting. I think it can go back and forth. In third in Ohio, we did have Urs, but take Ramon Dino out because he's not at the show. That would mean Urs would move up to second by default. That would mean Brion would technically fall in line to be next if you just repeat the placings. So we'll talk about him next. I think he was I think the legs got worse. Maybe a little less full. I think in Ohio he deserved to beat Urs, but he didn't. That's the issue here. So I think he was next to Wesley. Keep that in mind. He was next to Wesley, which means on paper, if you don't know how bodybuilding judging works, the people in the center are usually the ones that are likely to be in the top spots versus the people on the outside, which are further away from the top spots. Brion was not moved from the outside except when Urs and Michael moved on the inside. And then Wesley and Brion were moved to the out. That leads me to believe that Wesley and Brion are currently heading into finals 1 and 2. So Brion, he does have the shape. He does have pretty good size everywhere except the lower body. And really only in the quads. Glutes and hams, absolutely amazing. He never really skipped a beat there, even when he was really getting ravaged by the weight cap. But terrific back, terrific arms. The side chest pose is improving, which was one of his weaker poses. And he has the flow. He has very good flow to his physique. Even with the downsized legs, it doesn't look too out of place in certain shots. And some, yeah. From the side, legs look fine. From some front shots, the legs definitely get hurt. Or definitely show off how small they are. Others, not so much. But overall, I think we gotta have to talk about him in conjunction with Urs. But just for Brion alone, I see him taking third of the minimum, maybe even second. But after what happened in Ohio, I just don't think that's super likely. Maybe they want to rectify that decision. I'm not entirely sure. So now let's move to Urs Kalecinski, the most improved athlete from Ohio. In Ohio, he was flat and smooth. It's kind of a combination of the two. A lot of people don't think you'll be smooth when you're flat, you'll be shredded, but that's not true because the muscle's not full and pushing against the skin, so you kind of get the worst of both worlds when you're flat because he was in condition. He had a weight cap to make. He was definitely in condition. He just didn't have the fullness, but now he does. And a couple things he has going against Brion is the size. Overall, in terms of height, he's several inches taller, and he's, over a dozen. He has several, I think a couple dozen pounds to play with over Brion at that point. Probably around 20 pounds bigger. No, 40 pounds bigger than Brion. 30-ish pounds bigger than Brion. And it shows. Urs is one of those guys that is pretty muscular. The legs blow Brion's out of the water. I thought Brion's legs in some shots did beat Urs, oddly enough, in Ohio because Brion was able to bring the cuts, and Urs's legs looked smaller and they were blurry. Now they look absolutely massive. Like, it just shows you how much these guys deplete and how much carbs can actually change their physique and how much different food and nutrients can change their physiques because his legs are absolutely crazy at this point. They're back to looking like his old self. And in terms of shot by shot, I think at this point, Urs beats Brion. Now, in the front double, it's a little tricky. In the rear double, it's Brion. But in all the other shots, favorite classic pose, abs and thighs, side chest, I would give to Urs, and that means it's a 5-3 battle. But, you don't have to win every single pose, especially in classic. They're looking for that flow, but I think Urs, with his better details, the life to his muscles and his overall better looking conditioning, I think he can take this, honestly, which I wasn't saying last week. I thought, even at the Olympia, Brion was robbed at Ohio. I firmly stand by that. But now I'm going to be interested to see who places higher. I think they both deserve that second place spot, or maybe even a bit higher. Who knows? But I kind of look for Urs to beat Brion. But by the way the judges were moving them, I'm not entirely sure. But I would have Urs ahead here just because dramatic improvements. Maybe I don't even know if I'd call him the less complete one because his back it's moving up. I would say it's a bit more solid, but it's still weaker. But the legs are better. And Brion, his side chest pulls is lacking a little in the pecs, and he's obviously lacking in the quads, which is half the physique, at least from the front. So I kind of look for him to beat Brion. Not entirely sure. And then now in first place, at least in a tentative first place, was Wesley Vissers because Ramon Dino was not here, so we're skipping him. Wesley just placed first in Ohio. Brought his best physique ever. I think this one was slightly worse. And I think Wesley would disagree. I think he put out a statement today that said he was slightly more conditioned at this show. And maybe he was, but I did like the look overall, whether it was fullness or whatever, from Ohio. But to each their own. It was very, very close. So you kind of can go back and forth on the look. But I personally preferred Ohio. But the moral of Wesley's story here today, what he did this competition was enough. I would say he did enough. Let's see. It's just who else is this complete, this massive, and this shredded? Who else combines all three things, especially that all-important shape category, because this is classic? Wesley is very muscular for this division. He's probably the most complete by this point, because Brion's missing the legs. Wesley's missing hamstrings, but Urs is missing back. And I think hamstrings compared to missing quads or back and arms are less important, especially when you're bringing everything else at a pretty decent level. So I think right now, Wesley is a few percent better than everyone else on the stage, but I think everyone can still win. I really do think everyone can win. And the thing is, I don't know how much finals is going to change it, because at finals in Ohio, they didn't even have it on the scorecard. So I don't know what's happening there. If Brion beats Urs, classic judging is hella changing. Yeah, because I think they've wanted guys for Urs for a long time, and I think that's also what benefited Wesley. But yeah, returning to Brion would kind of be returning to a vintage classic physique, and by vintage I just literally mean what the judging standard was in 2019 or 2018. Wesley is blocking. I would agree with that, actually. I kind of think Wesley is blocky, but a lot of people don't. I think either way, even if he is blocky, that is kind of aesthetic, because he has that Y frame. He is pretty wide, and then it just drops off. He doesn't have that V taper, and then the X frame, he doesn't really have that. He has a Y frame, which arguably, it kind of reminds me of like a silver era type of physique. Really classic, really old school. But some people are going to prefer that X frame. To each their own, but I don't think Wesley should be automatically penalized for that, but I think when someone else brings better shape or more appealing shape like a V and or an X frame, with the better size and conditioning that Wesley can manage to bring, because he's just so tall, I think you have to favor the other guy, but some people will just flat out prefer Wesley. Let's see here. Let's check back in. I don't know how many fitness routines there are. I know this show is a lot leaner than the Arnold Ohio, by a lot, actually. So we shouldn't have to wait through too much. Yeah. Let's see. I wonder if I can find maybe Bodybuilders Without Borders would have a full lineup video. None that aren't sideways. I don't know why they upload them like that. Here's actually an interesting comparison I can put up real quick, just to touch on it. This is 2 weeks apart. Urs at the Arnold, Ohio versus Urs today. And the legs blew up, absolutely insane. He changed his execution as well, and I think that's a lot better for him. I really do. I never liked the way the rib cage looks. But I think contorting his body and kind of twisting in, tilting on the hip makes it even worse. It still doesn't look too sightly. I wish he had a wider rib cage, kind of like Arnold. But he just doesn't. But the head-on version helps a lot more. Maybe it hurts the arms because of the illusion, how the waist is now a factor, because now the arms don't look as full, because bodybuilding is illusion. But I think overall is a better pose on the right. Okay, here's something. This is all right. This is everyone's individual posing routine. Yeah, immediately my eyes are kind of drawn to the top two guys. Like, Brion sticks out to me like a sore thumb, but I guess not really a sore thumb because that's a bad thing. I really do just am kind of drawn to Brion. But I think, the legs, they're even more noticeable than they were in Ohio for some reason. I'll probably do a side-by-side comparison of these two versions because I really want to see what changed. I think the legs are worse this time around, which makes sense. Especially for an older guy like Brion, someone that really is hurt by the weight cap and has to fill up again and then come down again. It's going to hurt him probably more. But maybe I'm just pulling that out of my ass. Overall, let's see if I can stop this. Okay, so overall in this front double, I would probably put... Man, this is interesting. Honestly, I still like Brion and Wesley the most. I think Wesley does win because of the legs, the width through the top. He just looks massive, and then his arms are the best. Right there with Brion. I kind of like Brion's more. They have more of that peaky heart shape, and I kind of like that a little bit more. But, Wesley's right there. So in this one, I'd put Wesley in first, maybe even Brion in second, because Urs doesn't have the arms, and I don't like how his torso looks, but the legs are obviously insane. But, that's arguably the least important part of a front double pose. But Brion's legs are quite the opposite, even though he brings a better torso. So that's why I kind of think he's in second. He may be in first depending on who you are, but I think he beats Urs. I honestly, even personally, I really like Michael Daboul's physique, but yeah, you know what? Screw it. I would put Michael ahead of Urs just because of the arms at that point, honestly, and Michael's legs were also really good, but I know some people won't agree with that at all. Okay, and then side chest. This is usually a Wesley pose, and I think it still is. Wesley, like I said, is just able to carry so much mass. He's like 6'3", but still, I think whatever it is, bone density or something like that, he's just able to carry more weight on his frame, more muscle on his frame. It's weird. It's kind of like a Chris Bumstead situation. Let me check in real quick. Okay, still doing routines for fitness. I would put Wesley in first here. Honestly, since this is more of a bodybuilding style of pose, I would probably give Michael the edge here for second. But actually, no. It's tough. I think Brion kind of falls into last here because his pecs look kind of skinny. His side leg looks good. I think his legs present much better from the side and even from the back than from the front. But the skinny pecs, he has the worst pecs on the stage, just by default. Michael has the best arm delt, very good side leg, even better than Urs, I would say. I'd kind of need a closer look, but Michael has more hamstring drop, and Urs is pretty quad dominant. I'd like to see some more balance there, but I would probably put Michael in do I think he beats Urs? Urs has quite a big rib cage, pretty good delt, not kind of a skinny arm. You know what? I'll throw Michael a bone, put him in second, Urs in a close third. Brion in fourth. And then the rear double, I don't really need to... Yeah, so Brion in first, for sure. This is pretty easy. Michael in second. I wouldn't say very close, but it's pretty close because no one can usually touch Brion at all. But I think Michael could be in the same room as Brion. Better lower body. I really like the feathering, not really feathering, the Christmas tree in the lower back. I really like that. And Michael has pretty good arms and delts. Overall, his level of muscularity, along with Brion's, through the rear, is just much better than these two. These two on the left here. So I put Brion in first, because he still brings a better lower body than he did from the front. It still doesn't look disproportionate like it did in the front shot. Michael in second. Urs default in third. And then Wesley in fourth. Wesley's lats are kind of retreating up. Slowly but surely. And then his leg stance, I hate it. I don't understand why he pops one knee out and then doesn't really, you can see everyone here has one leg back to flex the glutes and the hams. and he's not doing that. His legs are almost right there with each other. Very odd choice for sure. Okay, and then no abs and thighs, unfortunately. So, let's see here. Okay. I wonder how long these fitness routines are, because I don't know if they're definitely granted 3 minutes, honestly. And I'm sure they use all that time, honestly. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any good footage of the abs and thighs or the favorite classic pose. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Michael always has an issue with posing. You can kind of see here he like shakes and all that. And I think the poses he does pick aren't very classic and very well suited to his physique. And just from what I saw at Prejudging, because I did watch Prejudging, I just didn't stream it, he's just not super classic, nor super refined at posing. He can hit some certain shots well, but he shakes a lot. Like you can see down there in that rear double. He shakes a lot, loses balance a lot. I would say Brion, Wesley, and Urs are all in a league above in choosing good classic poses. But, how do you even judge something like that? I don't even remember which one specifically they hit. Oh, Brion, I do remember the pose that he hit specifically was the twisting rear double biceps. And I remember that because I thought it was so good. Let's see. Maybe I can find a picture of it. I thought he hit it extremely well. Okay. This is a version of the classic pose, so I don't know if they have it exactly. Let's see here. Yeah, so when he wasn't doing that, he was doing his classic, kind of half crucifix, this kind of pose right here. It's good, but it's really good actually, but I did prefer that. Here we are. Here it is. I thought he hit this three-quarter shot extremely well. Extremely well. In fact, better than Urs, and it's more suited for Brion. Better arms, more striated delts, and the better back, of course. Urs isn't really suited for the shot. He isn't suited for his one-arm bicep pose either, because great structure, shows off his great legs and his lines, right? But it shows off the main point being the arms, and his arms are, quite frankly, poor. And then Wesley, just by default, just by these upper poses, I'd probably put Wesley in first, or Brion in first, and then Urs behind both of them, and then Michael in fourth. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to do on this makeshift scorecard right now. Michael fourth in that favorite classic pose. I think Brion is a technically good poser. I don't know if that's enough to place him second in the pose. I put Urs down in third regardless. And I'll put Brion in. Honestly, his pose is the only one that stuck with me, so I'll give him first in the favorite classic pose, and then put Wesley in second. So we still have yet to see the abs and thighs, and I can't really find a photo or a video that includes that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, from this angle, it's Urs and Michael, oddly enough. I never liked how Wesley's abs look. They're not that defined, and he always looks smooth in it. He always kind of looks a little chunky, even though he's obviously not. He's shredded, just the way his abs and the skin fall on the abs. So I'd put Urs in first in here right away. His only win of the comparison. I'd probably put Brion. I think Brion beats Wesley. And I think his vacuum is better than Wesley because Wesley doesn't have any taper at all. But I'd have to kind of go out on a limb for that. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll put Michael in second. Wesley in fourth. Yeah, Wesley in fourth. Brion in third. So that means out of the 5 classic poses, I had Wesley winning 2, Brion winning 2, Michael winning 0, Urs winning 1. Yeah, for that 5. And then the final score for that, let me make sure. We may be getting a change here. I think there may be changing division, so we may have to go to that. Or maybe it's the last one. Nope, now they're bringing out, what is this? Bikini? Wellness? You can never tell them apart. Anyway, for that final score on my score sheet, that's 9, 10, 14 for Urs. 6 plus 8. The 14 for Michael. 2, 5. 11 for Brion. 11 for Wesley, is that right? 5, 9. Yeah. So I kind of see it as a 2-man race then. So I just did a little scorecard. You know, there's 5 poses: front double, side chest, rear double, abs and thighs, and the favorite classic pose. And when I rank all these guys, it comes out to Brion winning 2 poses, Wesley winning 2 poses, Michael winning 0 poses, Urs winning 1. And then Michael and Urs both scored 14. Let me double check that. 6. Yeah. And then Brion and Wesley scoring 11 each. 1, 2. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, and I did kind of see the judges moving those 2 together. Anytime they moved Wesley, they moved Brion. So I think that's indicative of Brion staying in second place, although I don't know if I necessarily agree. Just as it is, I think he may be in a second place right now. I don't know how strong of a second place it is. I don't think any of these guys are holding on to their placings after prejudging. I think we're going to have to move to the finals if they even judge that. But I think they at least take a look at it just in case anybody actually really drops the ball there. Let's see. And then actually, interestingly enough, when you take out Michael and Urs, you get, on my scorecard, Wesley winning 2 poses to Brion's 3. So I think Brion is actually probably pushing Urs the most, pushing Wesley the most here. But I don't know if it's enough, especially when you're missing legs. I see Wesley as the more complete guy. Okay, here's a poorer quality video, but I think this is just taken directly from the live stream. So you can kind of see these guys. Well, let's see if there's a brighter video down here. No, not quite. Yeah, the live stream was, it was okay. Not as good as the Arnold, Ohio, but, it was free, so. Okay. Kind of like this video. This video is a little brighter. It's sped up, but. Let's see what you guys are saying, actually, in the poll. So you think Urs... 36% of you think Urs is going to win Classic. Wesley as a favorite, but with only 51% of the vote. Michael's clearly in fourth with 1%, and then Brion in third with 12%. I think that's indicative of what happened today. Wesley, majority of a slight majority of fans think he's probably going to pull ahead based on the prejudging. But Urs is close. Brion may be closer than we think. it's depending on how much they look at finals and if finals really changes anything. Let's see here. And then I guess we can perhaps talk about Open, because for Classic, I think that's about it. Yeah, Wesley slightly favored after prejudging. And based on, because they don't really judge prejudging, finals anymore, how much can it change? That remains to be seen. I see Wesley as taking this show narrowly, like he did Ohio. A lot of the fans on the ground thought, yeah, Wesley should win Ohio, but that was not the case on the scorecard. It was only a 1-point decision versus Ramon. So I see it as kind of a closer victory here, but I still think Wesley will pull it off. I'd be very surprised if Brion does, even though I have maybe Urs in third, depending on who you are, I guess. I think Urs is the only one with the structure to contend with Wesley. So I kind of see Brion jutting in there enough, making second, which kind of locks Urs out of the conversation for even being first. So when you have that kind of dynamic, I think Wesley's gonna take this. Let's see here. Yeah, I think Gilco had their open footage from Ohio, surely, on their Instagram. Okay, so there's none from Gilco with these two guys together, maybe up at the top, but this is really a two-man race, and honestly, if you were to ask me my full unbiased opinion, this is a one-man show. Hadi Choopan is going to come in and dominate. The fact is that the gap between Samson and Hadi was so big that even if Hadi was worse and Samson got better, as long as it's not a huge change between these two guys, the gap is going to remain the same. And Samson, obviously he has some personal struggles behind the scenes going on. Ditching his coach 2 weeks out of a competition is an interesting choice, to say the least. At least he did have his wife to fall back on, because his wife has peaked him before. Pretty well, actually. You got to give her credit. But, these coach-spouse relationships don't work really ever. I mean, I can't even think of an instance where it's worked, let alone worked for years in the running. So I think Samson will peak well enough at this show. But of course, we haven't even talked about the health struggles he's had. So of course, a couple days after the Arnold, he went on Instagram, and after, complaining about fans and them having opinions, he said that his body was, quote, failing him, and he said he was going to the hospital. Fuad tried to clear the air and say, no, it's just a cold, he's going for antibiotics, he's going to take the antibiotics, all that. And maybe that's true, whatever happened, that sounds like it, because he's still in the show, so it couldn't have been too serious. But the doctor also said that he was dehydrated. Samson said he had drank a lot of water in this time. So, how much is he willing to push for this show, where he's kind of already got second on lock, and first is kind of out of his wheelhouse, unfortunately, in my opinion. So I don't know if he's going to play it safer, but I think we're going to see roughly an equal Samson to what we saw at Arnold, Ohio, which has everything: size, shape, although the stomach was going, and that's the thing we can talk about a little bit later. He had everything besides the shape, besides the conditioning. And it's not like he needs much. He needs like a little tightening up in the glutes, a little bit in the lower back, and those finer details throughout his entire physique. And that's like a 5% difference. You know, he can coast by on a lot of shows with his shape and his size, but at the Arnold Classic, he can't do that, and he didn't do that. And he would have if it wasn't for, of course, Hadi Choopan. And Hadi just absolutely exposed him, let alone Hadi was so incredibly better than his last showing. Hadi exposed him because he was just Hadi. And Hadi is just on another level in terms of conditioning against everyone else. We've seen Hadi waver a little bit throughout the years, like 2022 when he was trying to play the size game. It worked, obviously, but he wasn't in the best condition. That was his worst conditioning, and it was still great. And he won the Mr. Olympia, so what does that tell you? And here, he brought the waist down. He exposed Samson on that front. He exposed Samson in conditioning. And honestly, in terms of pound-for-pound muscularity, even against a 300-pounder, he held his own. Okay. I don't know if I could find some footage with them together. Because all the judges had Hadi in first place. All the judges had Samson in second place. It was not a split decision at all. It was quite an easy decision. And Tyler Mannion had said that in his breakdown. He said it was a clear decision. What did he say specifically? He said he would have broke down all the poses in his own breakdown, but he said he really didn't feel the need to because it was so dominant. So there's no together footage of them, I don't think. Here, maybe? No. But anyway, I see Hadi as a clear first. He did have a late flight. It's not going to affect him. We've seen Hadi come into the show with 24 hours out of a show at the 2020 Olympia because of pandemic restrictions. He got here literally the day before, and his conditioning was still fine. And at finals, every single judge had him in second. So he's able to make changes quick. So even if he does falter a little in the prejudging, which he won't, and he's standing next to Samson Dauda, it's not like he's standing next to someone that gets into very good shape. So he has a little bit of wiggle room. Like I said, the gap is just so big. But then at finals, if there are any problems, he'll slam the door pretty easily. But with Raphael gone, this does leave an interesting conversation open for third place. So let's see if I can pull up the list here. So there's only 7 guys in now. We lost... Raphael's probably the biggest name we lost. And of course, earlier in kind of the lead up to the show, we lost Andrew and Rubiel. 2 huge names. And Rubiel kind of just didn't do it because he didn't feel like it, which I think is an interesting decision. But, you know, it is what it is. So the battle for third is kind of what's going to be the most competitive here, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and put a poll up so that way I can gauge your guys' opinions. It's in the classic poll. And let's go ahead and put out a poll of who's third in open. And I think it can be just about anyone except for maybe Mo Shaban, but there's only 4 options on the poll that you can put in chat on YouTube anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and put that out. And let me know who you guys think will end up in third. Now, who's winning the show, who's going to end up in third, because I think, you know, in all likelihood, second's done. Yeah, I really only see it's 2 options. And I do agree with you guys so far. The votes are coming in, but Akeem. So I think Akeem is the only one in this lineup with the size already built and the structure that could, key emphasis on the word could there, face Samson. Oh, okay. And now we have classic, so let's turn the audio on. Don't want to get copyrighted.
All right, your gentlemen in place. Set it down to the judges. Big Steve.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. And this is not your final call out, I believe. It's interesting. I don't know who that is, because he's not a huge name, but maybe they're just bringing everyone else out, and this happened to be the order. That's probably the case. This guy looks good, though. Very good, I gotta say. Yeah, but I think he's just giving up too much size to some of these guys. You know, he's a shorter guy. Not as filled in as Brion either, so he'll have that going against him. I don't see the legs on Brion. I want to see them improve from prejudging. I want to see him hit that front double to really tell. I think they look a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, they're just doing quarter turns, so that's not the. Okay. Okay. Nope. I've not had problems with the stream, so hopefully this is just yeah, okay. And that's it. I think that's your entire classic lineup after those 4 guys, because I think there's only 7 guys total in classic as well. So I imagine the top 4 is going to stay intact, and they'll call them out. Okay. All right, so now they're going to do posing routines. Yeah, I'll probably have to cut the audio simply because copyright issues in terms of music, but I'm not too sure. I don't think it's too loud. Well, maybe they'll they'll not notice. Please change to HD. That is as. Did not even realize. Okay, the stream is now supposedly running at 1080p, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll turn that off. Because I'd like the stream to stay up. I wonder how much I skipped because that seemed kind of quick. Oh, no, he's just going from side to side. And the camera's not panning. Okay. All right. So there's really not a whole lot to talk about here. I'm glad they're. It really makes the show go by so much quicker when there's only 7 guys. That definitely is going to help. Okay, now we have. I think I am familiar with this guy. I think he was at a couple of the European shows, if I remember. I know one of these guys was. What was his name? Who's that? Pastor? Ruben? Not going to pop up the name? Okay. I'll go ahead and take a look at the list then. Let's see. This is. Yeah, it'd be really helpful if they popped up the names, but because I don't know everybody. Especially. I mean, he looks good, but he is lower level classic. Still at the Arnold Classic UK, but lower level.
Brion Ansley.
And now Brion is coming up. Definitely such an underrated poser. I know Urs is probably going to get a lot of talk just because he's Urs Kalecinski, and he kind of does something a little funny at the end of every posing routine. And Brion did at the Arnold, Ohio. I'm going to be interested to see if any of them change their posing routines up. I definitely liked Brion's a lot more at the Arnold, Ohio, but that's just me personally. I like that slow, methodical posing, and I think he's doing the same posing routine here. There is no audio. Yeah, I turned it off because of some of the music being it may induce a copyright strike, because the footage won't, because the live stream's free, but the music might. So as long as I'm talking over it, which I didn't have anything to say in the last posing routine, but as long as I'm talking over it, it should be okay. Yeah, very very methodical routine. Urs, he was pretty methodical at the last posing routine, and he did get the best posing award. But Brion is slept on You know, from Physique to not placing as highly to basically everything. Like, he's just slept on at this point. Yeah, and then now he's gonna break out the dancing. Not a huge fan of dancing, you know, when it comes to posing, but you know, it's whatever. Yeah. You know, he's having fun with it. You know, you kind of saw this a lot more after Ronnie Coleman, because Ronnie Coleman just kind of hammed it up there, but some people are okay with it. I don't think it's like a disgrace or anything, but I'd like to see more actual posing, but that's just me. I like that one for Brion. I don't think he hit that the last time. And then the splits at this age, at this amount of muscle for 44, that's insane. Nice touch.
Give it up for the champ, Brion Ansley. Your next competitor was third place at last year's Olympia and third place just 2 weeks ago at the Arnold. Making his Arnold Classic United Kingdom debut. Please welcome from Stuttgart, Germany, the Miracle Bear, Urs Kalecinski.
Okay. I imagine Urs just does the same routine as 2 weeks ago. You know, there's already so much to do with travel and whatnot, and I doubt he'd want to memorize 2 routines. But, you know, he's a true performer. He likes doing this. Maybe he did. Although it kind of sounds like the same music that he's used before. People oftentimes forget how old Brion is. Yeah, 44, I think. Maybe even 45, but you know, for this amount of muscle, it's great. And the fact that his physique has held up this long is great. Yeah, so it looks like this is the same routine that Urs did Ohio. Which won him the best posing award? I don't know if they're going to do it at this contest, but I think he's kind of on lock for that one. Just because he's a crowd favorite. You know, I think they kind of go by crowd reaction here. Yeah. And then he'll probably do the funny bit that he did at the end, like pretend to be the Terminator or something. Oh, interesting. Okay, so he picked some other type of music last weekend or 2 weekends ago. He did the Pumping Iron theme song. Oh, okay, okay, so he's doing it again. Yeah, I mean doing the Arnold the Arnold Classic with the in your posing routine is to the Pumping Iron music. You're probably gonna win Best Posing Award here tonight as well. Yeah. And very methodical, what I liked at the beginning for sure.
Give it up for the Miracle Bear, Urs Kalecinski. Please welcome your next competitor, top 5 in his last 2 Arnolds, and first place in 2022 right here in the UK. Please welcome
Michael Daboul.
United Kingdom, Michael Daboul.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to turn the audio back off because I don't know how much I'm going to say about this one. It's not that Michael's a bad poser. Maybe a little. Not really, because he can hit good shots. You know, like that one, I think that works honestly really well for him. But he just shakes so much. I don't really know what it is. It's like he's flexing extremely hard. Maybe you can see a little bit of that here. And sometimes he does do, you know, some awkward things. Like the way he holds his arms, like the front and rear double, not super clean. Yeah, and like doing, yeah, it's just his physique is oddly flat. Like from the side, he has a good side chest pose, so it's not like too flat, like you'll see it here. But like it's just like his rib cage is not like, if this is the spine, it's not like coming out. It's more like straight down. I don't really know how to explain it. It's like his organs aren't taking up that much space, which is probably a good thing in bodybuilding. But please open the stream voice, bro. I cannot open the stream voice 100% of the time, especially when I'm not talking about it, because the music will get me copyrighted, and then the stream is gone. That's why it's not on all the time. Urs looks awesome, bro. Definitely much better than here in Ohio. Second would be fair this time around, but Brion's losing to him in Ohio was BS. Yeah, I agree. I actually have Urs in second in my own personal decision, but I think the judges are going to kind of want to give Brion a little redemption. And they were moving them around, at least at prejudging, like Brion was in second. But I think just turned in his classic finish. No, not at all. They prejudging is over. That was from this morning. The classic routines are on right now. And then they'll do comparisons somewhere in here. Finals confirmation round comparisons. So no, it's not over. Got 100 people watching. Make sure you guys like the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe so you can participate in the chat. Definitely like how this is a UK show and I'm over in the US, so this was 4 hours ahead of me, so it's nice to do a little afternoon stream. And because it's so tight in terms of competitors, we're not gonna be here for hours on end. They should give second to Brion this time to compensate for the Ohio BS. Yeah, and I think that's what they'll ultimately do. But I wouldn't agree with it, to be honest. I want to see them again, especially now that Brion is usually better at finals because he has more time to fill out. More so than Urs. I think they all kind of get better at finals because of the way the Classic is, but I think Brion more so. So I want to see a little confirmation there, but yeah. I have Urs in first. A lot of people did. I don't know if my poll results. Urs was in second place by your guys' the poll results, the 36%. I don't think Urs can beat Wesley simply because Wesley, I don't know. The only thing he's really missing is hamstrings, and I think that's less important when Urs is also missing back and arms. Which, especially the back, that's definitely more important than hamstrings. If you ask me, I know it all works together, and some body parts are more important than others, in my opinion. Me, Kenneth, and the boys. Mackenzie want to join. God damn it. I need some mods to ban that hooligan Nick Dunica from chat. That song has the legs are 50%, don't forget it. By that definition, then the back of the legs are 25%. So I can see it. I can see Urs beating Wesley. I think all of them had an argument. I think Wesley's is probably the most compelling, though. I think he's kind of the best balance of everything: completeness / size, plus conditioning, plus shape. I think Urs probably beats him in shape. And maybe even in some body parts, depending on where you look, maybe even as a whole, probably, and maybe in conditioning too. But in some areas. I don't know about in totality. But I want to see them side by side one more time to really make the decision. I'm not saying Urs is out of this at all. In fact, I think even though Brion may place second, as I said earlier, I don't know if you were here for this, Brion being kind of in that second place kind of pushes Urs out of the conversation for first, which is a weird dynamic, but it's true. It's kind of a thing that happens. But if Urs is basically the only one with the size and the structure similar enough to Wesley to beat Wesley. So if anyone can beat Wesley, it's going to be Urs. But at the same time, I kind of see him in third. Urs is missing back because he don't have a back because he's using the quality, Yeah, he definitely. I would say, in terms of his back, he's actually brought it up. Like, it's no Brion's back, but Wesley doesn't have Brion's back either. So I think Urs's arguments for not placing first are diminishing by the day at this point, but by the hour, I guess. Wesley takes up so much space on stage. That's why I have him winning. Yeah, he's just so much bigger. Not only just he's the tallest guy, I think, in this contest, but also he can just pack on more muscle to his frame, it just seems. Okay, now they're bringing out the contests. I'll turn that audio back on now that the music's gone. Okay, so these are probably going to be your last spots. Again, there's only 7 guys, so this is probably your 7th through 5th. They definitely got to get that guy out of the middle, though. I don't agree with that. The guy's upper body conditioning is off. Yeah, they got to get that guy in the middle. He's the youngest there. He's 25. Yeah, Urs is very young, and in terms of the political factors, that definitely helps him out. Not sure if you've been asked to death, but when is open? Open, it's tentative. The show starts at 3 East Coast time, which is where I'm at. It starts at 7 there, Birmingham time, London time. So I imagine because the lineups are a bit leaner, maybe 90 minutes post that. So I would say after... Actually, I don't know what they have for the women left. I would say maybe within 30 minutes. I wasn't paying attention to what they were doing with the women, though, so... When is men's wellness starting? Men's wellness? Is that a joke? Okay. So here's your top 4 on Classic. Same from Prejudging. Let's see if anything has changed. Interesting. So now I'll take 2 steps here, right, actually. Which is your favorite athlete in this Classic? Around which do you guys like the most? Today usually it's Brion, but today I kind of like Urs the most, which definitely, I was making videos twice in a row now about how Brion was robbed by Urs, basically. Well, the judges, but Urs, but yeah, Urs is probably my favorite today. I think Brion's legs did fill out a little bit, which definitely helps him, but I don't even know if they judge finals anymore. Tyler Manning said they look at it, but I don't think that really counts for anything. Unless someone royally screws up, I don't think it really matters, unfortunately. Hopefully, Brion hits that 3/4 back pose again. Looks like he's gonna hit that crucifix first, but oh, there it is. Better than Urs, I gotta say. Urs just doesn't have the back or the arms or even the delts for it. Yeah, so it's. I hope they actually go through with them. I think that was just it wasn't even sanctioned by the IFBB. I think that contest that had the men's wellness. So it's Daboul's abs are the best. Funnily, arguably, yeah. I kind of like Urs's, but yeah, I see what you're saying for sure. Okay, I'm gonna cut that music. Pretty good lighting here. I don't think it's as good as Ohio, but you know, as long as we don't get the Olympia, like the bar is so low, I'm just glad to see half decent lighting. Is it just me, or is Urs much improved from prejudging? I think everyone kind of is. Well, I think I noticed the most improvements between Urs and Brion. But I think I see what you're saying about Urs. Too bad they only ran through it once, so that must mean they didn't really see too much of a difference. Urs is the winner. I don't know. I still kind of see Wesley to win this. Everyone in that top 4 could win. I think Michael's the least likely. Wesley just happens to be the most likely. Let's see. I'll do a final call here. We'll run this poll one more time. You know, I'll just leave Michael out of it because he only got 1% last time anyway, so. Okay. Last call. We'll see what you guys say about that. Okay, looks like they're putting them back. I don't know if they'll do awards right away or they'll bring the open guys out and then do awards at the end. Wesley seems a bit too much today. But Urs seems improvements are insane. Yeah. If Urs gets third, it's rigged. Okay, so it looks like they will put the classic guys back and then bring out the open guys first. Turn that up. Okay, so it looks like they're going to get into open prejudging now. Group. Okay, so initial call-outs here. I don't know why they feel the need to put so much music in this. So a lot of you from prejudging after finals, Wesley has about the same amount, but Urs seems to have eaten a lot of Brion's margin. If Urs win, that would make things super interesting since Wesley beat Ramon in Ohio. Yeah. Honestly, I think when it's all said and done, this may be the most competitive division, actually, because I don't think we're going to have a super competitive show in open, unfortunately. I don't know why those guys are so far apart. All right. Yeah. I want to see Samson. I want to see Samson from the rear, don't we all? Hadi's waist looks great. The quads look great. Same improvements as he made from the Olympia to the Ohio Arnold. And this is not your top call out. This is just the initial call out. So keep that in mind. Yeah. All right, Samson from the rear. Glute striations? Maybe, probably not, but no. Why would we expect anything differently? I just don't like Wesley's rib flare. It is definitely weird. It is very weird. I've never seen anyone with rib cage like it. I think now that he's thickened out, It helps a little bit. But yeah, I still don't like it. I still had him winning in Ohio, but, you know, it's... Personally, I don't like him as much because of that factor. Okay. All right. So that means the last group is 3 guys.
You come right this way, gentlemen. Right this way.
Okay.
And let's have group 2 on the center line, please.
Front double bicep. Quarter turn right. Quarter turn right. Back double bicep. Quarter turn. And face front. Thank you, gentlemen. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Right this way, please. All right, folks, judges and fans alike getting their first look at our gentlemen. We're now going to bring them out for their individual presentations. And we're going to start things off with a man who knows this stage very well. He was top 3 on this very stage just 2 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, from right here in the United Kingdom, James Hollingshead.
All right, so James out first. I don't really know what he needs to do that he hasn't already tried. You know, he's tried coming in super conditioned. He's tried coming in super full. Either one doesn't really help. You know, he just has some certain... His separation is never really good. Never that great. Okay. Damn, I would put Akeem over Samson right now. Akeem looks on. Yeah, I definitely want to see those two compared. I predicted that Akeem would probably have a better time here because it was his first prep with Chris Aceto last time in Ohio. So now they kind of worked out the kinks. And apparently from prejudging to finals, they didn't change anything. They just kind of let it play out. So for their prejudging look, Akeem was not that good, kind of just standard Akeem, standard poor Akeem. Which had him in 7th at prejudging, but then in finals he was all the way up for straight 4ths. So he ended up placing 6th when you average those out and average everybody else's scores out. But I think giving him some more time, giving him some more peaks, you know, kind of shaking the rust off because that was his first show and first competition in a while. I think we're going to see a better Akeem. I didn't make any predictions for this because the lineup was so just 7 guys, but I think I kind of wanted Akeem to place 3rd. Because as long as he's on both nights, he'll beat John. Because he did in finals. James is cool as fuck, but his abs hold him back. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's not even really like a... They look washed out, even though he's not washed out, just because they're so incredibly shallow. Okay, so here's Akeem. Definitely interested to see him on his own. We just need to see the shreds. The back's not going to be that good, but we just want to see good conditioning. Because the shape and the size, it's already there. Wish the stream was brighter, but... Yeah. Side leg's always freaky. That's not really a testament to Akeem's condition because it's always got lines in it. It's crazy. Yeah, and that back double's going to hold. That's going to be the reason he probably doesn't beat Samson if they are close in terms of conditioning and all that. Because Samson's back, at least in the back double, is at least better than Akeem's, because Akeem's is just so piss poor, but he has everything else. Everything that Samson does, big structure, big quads, big chest, He has the size and the structure to contend with Samson. John may have the more, balanced and complete physique and the better conditioning than Samson, but he doesn't have the structure of Samson. All right. Here comes Hadi. Might as well have just said an Arnold Classic UK champion. We were just looking for him to be majorly off, and that would be the only thing that could maybe give Samson a glimmer of hope. And it just doesn't look like we saw that here. Hadi's going to win this show pretty easily. I think James has already reached his best physique. I don't see much room for improvement because of his narrow frame. Yeah, I would agree. It's not that he's like maxed out. That's not even really his issue. The issue is like, where does he go from here? Because he's tried every end. He's tried super shredded. He's tried kind of a combination of both of the Arnold Ohio. He just doesn't, some guys just aren't genetically as good as others for whatever reason. And I think James is one of those. Someone's got to be middle of the pack. Someone's got to be, a lower tier bodybuilder. So we do have higher tier bodybuilders. Well, I guess it's congratulations for Hadi. Yeah, it wasn't. After Arnold Ohio, he was already Arnold Classic UK champ as well, as far as I'm concerned.
Give it up for Hadi Choopan.
Okay. Now here comes Samson. My expectations for Samson after the coach drama and after his sickness drama aren't very high, but if he doesn't play second, that's going to be really embarrassing. But I don't the likelihood that happens is very small. So from Samson, we're looking for better conditioning and better stomach control. But even then, he's just not going to beat Hadi. It's as simple as that. It's a Jover. Hadi wins. Pack it up. Yeah, I agree. Make it a one-day show. Yeah. Standard Samson by the looks of it. I really wonder if they'll even compare Hadi. What is the prize money for the Arnold UK? I think the top prize is $130,000. I do think it's above $100,000, or at least $100,000. Samson is controlling the gut. It looks to be. I want to see that twisting ab shot to be sure. The Arnold Ohio is $500,000. The Arnold UK, I think, is $130,000. Guys, make sure you like the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe for more. I do these live streams for every major pro show. I'm going to try to live stream every single pro show this year. Do you think anyone will ever have quads again like Jay Cutler? I think so. We see a lot of crazy legs nowadays. I don't know if it... I think Jay had the size, the cuts, and the details. He wasn't just separated. He had insanely crazy details. So I don't really think we'll see it, too often. But we have some freaky legs out there.
Give it up for Samson Dauda. Your next competitor placed fourth at the Arnold Classic tonight, making his Classic UK debut. Please welcome from Sunrise, Florida, John De La Rosa.
All right, so John De La Rosa coming in here. A lot of people, I would say third is going to be between him and Akeem. And for Akeem, I think his main advantage is obviously going to be size. He's much taller than John, and just much more imposing. much more mass with being taller, but John is complete and he's shredded. He was shredded at this past Arnold, Ohio, but we'll see the differences in Arnold, UK. Hadi's abs are incredible. He looks slightly more conditioned. I assume you're talking about Samson. Yeah, no way is it enough to be Hadi. Yeah, it's just there's just so much of a gap. And I think the judges are kind of tired of seeing Samson come in not how they ask when it's such, I say it's such a simple fix, but I don't know how simple it would be. But on paper, it's a simple fix. It's just like you got to do something about your conditioning. I mean, not a whole lot, and that's all you need to do. But he's yet to do that, and the judges take note of that. If he's not going to improve, that definitely hurts him a little bit because they do reward improvements. They definitely reward improvements.
Thank you, John Della Rosa. Your next competitor.
Someone says Samson's smaller than last time. Yeah, I kind of noticed that, to be honest. I think maybe it's. I think he tried to maybe push the conditioning. Maybe it's less water, but I don't know. I think he kind of went into panic mode a little bit after that. I mean, so much stress and so much pressure he had on himself for really no reason. He was crying that, this is a competitive sport and people are judging me. Yes, that it's a competitive sport. The fans judge, the judges judge. It's a subjective sport. It's a judged sport. It's not just like we're scoring points here. The points are awarded by judges. So it was a weird thing to cry about. But then he also and then he went to the hospital for whatever reason, then dumped his coach. Samson doesn't do cardio. Maybe that's why his conditioning is subpar. I've heard that too. The lighting and color balance is awful. Looks like they shot it as long in 23. Yeah, Arnold, Ohio was much better, but you can't beat free. And honestly, somehow this still looks better than the Olympia live stream. Somehow the Olympia needs to get their act together because this was put together last week. The Arnold UK didn't even have a live stream on their website. And then they finally got enough DMs, and I don't even know if they were originally going to do it, but they put it out a couple days before. And this is still what we get, which is pretty okay quality. Better than the Olympia. So that's really the main takeaway for me. But yeah, Arnold, Ohio was better. Okay, Moshe Bond. Samson being sick probably affected him, which is a factor for coming in smaller. Yeah, I agree. He had a lot of things, going on.
Thank you, Mohammed Shaban.
Bro, Samson does cardio. I follow him on Instagram. I see it. He does do cardio, but not to the level of Hadi. Hadi is on the Stairmaster for 3 hours, and Samson does a light jog for 45 minutes. I'm not saying I shouldn't have said Samson doesn't do cardio outright, because he definitely does. I just don't think it's to the level of Hadi at all.
Thank you, Bob. James, Hadi, Samson, and John.
Okay, so this was the first call out. I'm very interested to see why they didn't put Akeem in here. Yeah, that's interesting actually. Samson is going second. Y'all crazy. Here we go. Moshamban looks. Mo looks good, but it's just not enough. Yeah, I don't know if Akeem's getting overlooked, but from just his initial comparison, he looked pretty good. I think he deserved to be up here. But this is just the first call out. Maybe they'll put him in at the end. Yeah, Hadi's obviously very, very happy here. It's the same story from the Arnold, Ohio. Like, Samson getting mildly better in conditioning isn't enough. And I can even tell that it's super HD, but I can tell that Hadi's just on another level in terms of maturity, details, all the kind of things that kind of go into like the detail aspect, like conditioning down. It's Hadi all day. And his shape's improved, with Hadi's waist improvements, or waist reduction rather. Yeah. And Samson, that abs and thighs, it's very poor. Pulling a vacuum too, not even a very good vacuum. And yeah, his stomach, that needs to be locked in. He needs to take care of that. Maybe not as bad as it was in the Arnold, Ohio, but the night's still young. Maybe as the comparisons go on, it'll come out more, but still not like what it was at the Arnold 2023, for example. He was locked in. Okay, so Akeem's leading the second call out here, and there's only going to be 2 call outs. Anton. Mo looks, yeah. Someone said Mo looked good in chat. Now, yeah. I think the stream doesn't do Akeem justice. Because if you look closely, there's some good details there. But the judges didn't see it apparently, so. Samson's abs just look washed up, yeah. James is getting the hometown preference. It seemed like it. Milo said Samson isn't really ready to suffer. That's it. Like you said, with the Hadi comparison, the difference is for sure, yeah. Classic awards are going to be after open prejudging comparisons. And we may have some other awards for women's divisions, I think, maybe, because they tend to do awards for everything at the end. But we'll stick around until classic awards for sure, even if it's the very end of the night. James and John joined this group, so that means it is Samson and Hadi yet again. I mean, there's no surprise there. But yeah, now we're making this an even bigger second call out, so this is the 3rd through 7th. Oh, okay. Now they're kind of realizing John and Akeem switch, so they do want to compare. Yeah, I mean, look at the size difference there between Akeem and John. Who do you think is going to get the Arnold this time? Hadi, absolutely. Are you going to cover the Kuko Classic? No. But I do have a comparison with Steve Kuklo coming out. Steve Kuklo is absolutely one of my favorite bodybuilders. I don't watch a show or anything, but Steve Kuklo, such an underrated bodybuilder. I'm going to do a comparison between him and James Hollingshead because I think they're similar in some ways. They never brought separation. I think it's just genetically they don't have very good separation, and they never placed super well. Steve's best years, I think he did end up placing top 6, but that was like in 2019. If you know about 2019, it wasn't a super competitive year. So I want to do that, but I don't know. I got Muhammad in third. I don't really know if that's how it's shaking out. Muhammad did look better. I kind of wrote him off when someone said he looked good, but Mo definitely looks better than even I saw a couple minutes ago.
Abdominals and thighs. Samson and Hadi.
All right. And then, of course, your top 2. Was there absolutely no surprise there. Samson needs to fix whether it's sweat or too much oil on the top of his pecs. Samson, I think if you're going to give him a pose, you can maybe make the argument for this one, but I would have Hadi. But if you want to throw Samson a bone, because you know how the rest of this comparison is going to go, you can give him that one. I wouldn't give him the front lat spread. Hadi looks great. The lats are so much wider. But Samson's do insert a little bit lower. Samson's going to be the strongest probably in those, even these first 3 shots.
Back double bicep.
Samson's pretty good in that one, but Hadi wins on the quality argument and brings enough quantity in my opinion. The back is pretty decisive. That's a Hadi pose. Even though both of them don't really have the best backs, Hadi's definitely above Samson in another tier. Lat spread even more so. Like it does definitely just says something when Hadi's like 5 inches shorter than Samson, but like 10 inches wider. I think Samson could probably win the side try. I'm trying to be incredibly nice to Samson because this is a Hadi show. Hadi won this show. But some of these poses Samson does okay in. But right now, like if I was being a little bit harsher, Hadi would probably win every single pose. I do like how the delts came up on Samson. I think that's a nice touch because his limbs were always lagging behind the chest and the legs. No one should be in the box. Immediately steps in the box. Yeah, and Steve's running through these poses pretty quickly, so. See if I can't put the chat up here. Bubble Cup Bonanza. Akeem loses a lot in the back for sure. Hadi's a rock. Samson is struggling. Yeah. Samson's legs got smaller. I kind of noticed that too. I wasn't going to say anything because I wasn't for sure, but yeah, I kind of noticed that too. Sorry, I'm trying to do something here. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they even ran through these twice. I think it's just because, they're giving these guys a good show that bought tickets. But Samson is now even sweating. Like, you can see it a little on the top of his traps. Yeah, Samson, he has his highlights in some poses, but he's in Hadi's shadow. It is what it is. Samson would have to be 5 to 10% better to even stand next to Hadi, and then we can have a discussion. I think we really could have a discussion. I think Samson is good enough to beat Hadi if Samson just had that missing piece, but he doesn't. And that's the frustrating thing. This may even conclude prejudging, to be honest. Like, I like to see that. Honestly, they should bring that second call out again. Maybe streamline it a little bit, though. All right, but that's done. So that. Yep. We already found out. See. Can Hadi wear jeans? Probably not, and I think it would be his choice not to. Hadi needs to bring out the forearms. Yeah, that's a long time criticism. Hadi's conditioning a day out from landing too. Yeah, I mean, I knew some people were making it out to be a big deal, but he did the same thing in 2020 and still managed to place 4th at prejudging, and then 2nd place at finals, and then overall placed 4th at the show. So it wasn't never going to be an issue. Hadi, okay, in my opinion, Hadi 1, Samson 2, John 3, James 4, 5th Akeem, 6th Muhammad, 7th Antoine. Yeah, I think Antoine slipped a little bit here. Hadi, clear winner, not even close this time. Yeah, I think somehow it was even more dominant than last time. This is closer than Ohio, I thought. I personally don't think it was, but I think it's just because we kind of got the shock of Ohio out of the way first. But both of them, in my opinion, weren't really close at all. Like, I'd bet the house on Hadi winning at this point. But Samson's more conditioned before 2 weeks. So you think Samson was more conditioned in Ohio? I think the stream, I can't really tell. I'm not going to comment on that because I just can't tell because he's dark. I agree. This is not close. Yeah. Well, I guess I can... I prefer Samson, but it's not close at all. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the frustrating thing. Hadi's been one of my longtime favorites, but I really do like Samson. He just needs like 5 to 10% more. That's literally it. Feels like there's someone missing between Hadi and Samson. Yeah. I think Raphael, honestly, could have pushed Samson here. Again, I need to see HD photos to see how bad Samson was, because he's not really bad, but how off he was from where he should be. It's where he usually is, but we know where he should be. What do you think of the Classic winner 2024? I think Wesley's the narrow favorite. Any one of those 4 in the poll that's still going could probably... Every one of those 3 in the poll that is still going could probably win, though. Definitely more conditioned, but the Persian Wolf is more conditioned. More. So, yeah. Like I said, the gap. There's so much gap. I mean, Hadi gets 20% worse and Samson gets 20% better, then we can have a talk. But, I mean, that just wasn't the case, and that was just so unlikely to happen. Yep, so fitness awards. We may have bikini awards as well. I'm not entirely sure. It's been copy and paste Samson show after show. Dudes like opinion, but it needs the time to dial it off better. I don't even know if he needs time off. He does look tired, and I think that's probably an element of it. He's kind of setting himself up for failure, but I think he just needs to go back to the drawing board with another coach, another protocol, everything. I like Brion today more than anyone. That's fair. Yeah, sorry for my English, but yeah, so I said, oh yeah, no, your English is good enough. As long as it's not like super broken, I should be able to tell. On an unrelated note, who wants to be the first super chat in the channel's history? Because I don't think I've gotten a super chat yet. Someone could have the first super chat title on this channel. It's up for grabs. I think I set the limit at the lowest, which is like 99 cents or maybe $1.99 or whatever. Thank you, my brother from America. Absolutely, Kevin. So, day 1 finals, fitness, bikini, and classics. So yeah, it looks like we will have bikini awards after this too. Okay. Well, we're going to get off of that for a second. I want to put up another poll. In poll. So, the results of the classic poll, where's that at? Like 50% of you had Wesley winning, which is fair. I see you stream today the first time. You were very good, very, very good gun. Tyler Manion seemed to hint that he preferred Brion to Urs at the Arnold. Yeah, he did say that, actually. Atheist nihilist. He actually did say that. Tyler did say he preferred Brion, but he said that there are 11 judges, 11 or 9 judges, and you take the highs and lows out, and so you're just left with 5 on the scorecard. So, that means he was in the minority on that decision. So ultimately, it got moved to Urs being in 3rd place and Brion being in 4th. But he said he personally did prefer Brion. I'm following you today, inshallah. Interesting. Let's see. Okay. So I'm not going to put out a poll for second or first place. I'm going to put that 3rd place poll out again. Open 3rd. Akeem. I think there's really... I will add Mohammed Shaban in here, because I saw a couple people saying he might be. I think I'm going to have to take it. I can only put 4, so I'm going to have to leave Antoine on the cutting room floor here. So you guys vote in that poll, and let's see here. Loves to smooch. Long-time supporter of this channel. It's only fitting that, he is the first super chat. That's great. Absolutely great. Long-time fan. I appreciate you were like the first person, regular commenter, and I really appreciate that. And of course, first super chat. Yep. Loves to first super chat. Sent it twice, so you're technically the second super chat too. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's just on my end. But I appreciate that. It's just fun to get one. Okay. Honestly, out of all the divisions, I probably do like the women's divisions. I do probably like fitness the most, simply because it's the most entertaining. I mean, I don't watch the Olympics, but sometimes I will stop in and watch gymnastic Olympics because I think that is so incredibly impressive. Some of the most athletic people out there. Sorry. Okay, so we'll just let that play in the background. I'll keep talking to chat. Okay, get back to chat here. Hani apparently makes Hadi do 3 hours of cardio a day. I bet he does. That's exactly what I've heard as well. And Samson does like 45. I think he may gets up to an hour. Nah, I sent it twice. Perfect. I appreciate that. Keep commenting on the channel. I absolutely love it. You know, at one point, if you do want to hop on stream, I think you're well versed enough, probably even more so than me, based on the physique. You should come on, maybe a podcast at some point. An OG follower, a true OG follower deserves that kind of recognition. Gymnastics is one of the few sports where women outrank men in terms of popularity. Yeah. Guys, like the live and follow, important. Yes, guys, if you guys like the stream, please hit the like button and subscribe as well. I'm planning on doing these on every single major pro show. Like I bought a calendar the other day and filled out every single weekend I plan on going live, which is a lot. We have a lot of shows this year. And I maybe plan to do a couple of in-person lives as well. We'll see. Hadi shut the door down hardcore. I don't know what the general consensus is, but my opinion is that while Hadi wasn't as shredded as 2 weeks ago, he came in as full as a house. Yeah, I mean, you know, different looks. I don't think any one of them is worse. I'm waiting to see exactly what he looks like in HD photos to judge the two, Arnold Ohio and Arnold UK. But it was on par. Nick Strength of Power has been getting lazy over the years, and smaller bodybuilding channels have been picking up his slack. Yeah, I mean, not to talk ill about another bodybuilding channel, but I just think Nick is, I don't know about losing the drive, but he just kind of does it a little more casually, you know, and that was okay 5 years ago, but now everything has gotten so niche that people want hardcore analysis. Some people do just want the do just want the lowdown, but some people do want hardcore analysis. This stream was great. I'll be coming back. I appreciate that, Crimson Carousel. Hadi can focus on great conditioning because he uses SEO and doesn't have it loosen body blocks. You know, maybe that's true. But I think really the only, if he is like using SEO use and everything, I think the only thing that looks suspect are the delts and the arms, which, I mean, we've definitely seen worse cases, but. So wellness is coming out. Maybe it wasn't bikini because I thought bikini was tomorrow, but they put bikini on the schedule here. So I think they actually meant wellness, but I definitely could be wrong because I just don't follow this. If Hadi don't win, he flies to this guy too or something. Yeah, you know that's justifiable because this was a clear victory. Everyone uses SEO use. Come on, yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's just how much you can get away with it. Easily my new favorite channel in bodybuilding that's popping up recently. Yeah, I've only been doing this for about a year. I kind of really kicked off this new wave of... I really found my niche like last Arnold, basically. I like Hadi's fuller chest at the Olympia. However, I understand that it's going to get... that to get as shredded as he was at the Arnolds, it has to go down a bit. Yeah, you know, it is a balancing act, and Hadi knows that, you know. Sometimes you lose the legs when you go too far. It's really a balancing act, but Hadi is the best person to lead you across that tightrope. Stream's a bit lagging. Okay. Ooh, Kevin Levrone giving out an award. Major supplement company. Not so much here in the States from what I've heard, but very popular in Europe. I don't know if Europe was an easier market to get into or what. I thought it was the harder market because Europe has a little more standards on that kind of stuff. But he's big in Europe, apparently. Yeah, what? Yo, what just happened? He didn't even say the name, but she knew it. That's that's a bit odd. I don't really know what happened there. And then the stream cut out, unfortunately, so I don't really know the full story there. What's going on here? Man, I don't really know what's going on with her, but... Speaking of SEO user, what do you think about the reverse? I really love Crizzo and Wesley Vissers, respectfully, of their divisions because they look so like early 90s because they're so tall. My favorite. Crizzo is my favorite bodybuilder today, I think. I really think so. I mean, like you said, kind of like that early 90s look. But even though he's not like the most complete, his back kind of shallow, the legs don't match the upper body, Crizzo just has that wow factor for me. Did Levroni just blow her off? I don't really know what happened there. That was so weird. I'm not sure.
Gary, please take the second place check, the second place award to your runner-up this evening, Juliana Moda.
I don't really know what's going on here. This fourth place is acting hella sus. Has Classic gone on yet? How did Urs look? So Classic has gone on yet. They've done the individual routines. They've done finals comparisons. The only thing we're waiting on is awards, which is up next. Urs looked really good. I think he's pushing for second. Some people even had him in first. I think it's possible. I would say all these guys are so close, though. I saw it as a very competitive show. I think Hadi's on the path to beating Derek definitely through his conditioning. I think Hadi beat Derek last year, quite frankly. Like, I didn't even think it was close then, but I mean, with this new package, I think he kind of pushes himself into that undeniable territory, but we'll see. Okay, maybe we can... No, we'll just leave it on there. Finals, I had Urs winning. In terms of who I like the most, I think it was Urs today, honestly. And usually I like Brion the most, but I think Urs today for sure. For personal opinion, but that's not everything, of course. Really don't understand what James was doing on the first call out. He was miles behind Akeem. I agree. Let's see. In terms of who you guys had in third, it's Akeem by a long shot, and then James is actually behind Mo, but James was in the first call out along with John, which makes sense. John could be there if you're going to do a four-man call out, but not just expanding that to a bigger call out is odd. But they kind of did because they separated Samson and Hadi, so I don't like Derek's legs from the side with his glute. I don't like Derek's legs from the side and with his glutes. Bias were insane. Bro. I'm so glad there's only 3 women's divisions at the Arnold. And that's all you need. If you're going to have 3 men's divisions, 3 women's divisions, it makes things run so much smoother. You don't have so much overlap. It's having so many women's divisions is so weird. Yo, I haven't heard that song in forever. This is like exactly what I listen to at the gym. Brion's back is unbeatable, but in recent years he struggled to expand in the back double. I think he did Yeah, I don't know what I think I know what you mean there. He kind of pinches his traps together. I don't like that. I don't think Hadi was better. Hadi will win. I mean, so it's up to personal preference, you know, whether who you like more. I honestly maybe even like Samson more at this point, but Hadi is winning this show. Hadi won this show, quite frankly. Kevin is back in the house. Just in time for classic awards, Kevin. Wellness is my favorite women's division. They have legs and glutes. I prefer fitness. Derek squats from the sides with glutes and biceps is better. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, his side leg, and his side leg was pretty good, very dry, very balanced, and then his glutes actually from the rear were really good. Okay, they're going to do a top 6. So really, I mean, unfortunately, 6th and 5th are going to be, we're really looking at the top 4 here. Or top 3, I think, because I think in the top 3 you can't really have them in any order. Derek only won the back shots, and in my opinion, he only won the back double. I had Hadi winning the rear double because of the width. I definitely don't agree with that. I was literally saying during the last call out that guy should be taken out of the center. That guy looks like an amateur up top, especially in terms of condition. Don't agree with that call there. Ramon not showing up for them makes him look weak. Yeah, absolutely. Same with Raphael. I mean, Raphael, it's a little different because at least he's doing the Arnold South America, and he's going to have that on lock, especially if he just focuses on it and is a shadow of what he brought at Arnold, Ohio. I'll turn this up a little bit. I'm probably talking too much. Hadi will probably win this, but Derek for the next Olympia, though, in my opinion. Oh, I kind of agree with you. And you know, on show day, I probably will say Hadi will be better on show day. I mean, in terms of bodybuilding, from my perspective, Hadi wins. But on show day, and I'll say that then, but I think Derek's political reasons are just too strong. And as long as it's even remotely close, they're going to go with Derek. Ramon couldn't afford to lose 2 in a row. Yeah, that might be true. Michael, my brother, he has come so far. I used to train with him back. Wow. I really like Michael's physique. We got to understand that he's not so classic, but I like his physique. And the stream is lagging right at the most important time, of course. Okay, 4th place is Michael Daboul. Bruh, come on. Of course, why does it lag at the only time it's lagged today is at the Classic Awards, which is the most important part today. Yes, he could have came here for redemption, but now he kind of looks like he ran off. Yep, it does kind of show some weakness, honestly, especially because this would have been the last show for him until the Olympia. So he really had no excuse not to do it. Okay, top 3.
Third place award and presented to Urs Kalecinski.
Urs taking 3rd. That's actually just your page. Just actualize your page. I'm going to drop this down in quality real quick. Just for now. But today's done, so. Okay. And then Brion took 2nd. So a little anticlimactic. Yeah, Brion should be happy with that 2nd place. I know that Urs 3rd place is going to definitely be a little controversial because most people had Urs by the end of it. Yeah. And that's 2 victories in a row for Wesley. Wesley did it again. Holy shit. Yep. This time Urs robbed? I'm going to make a video on it. I kind of think so. I think now with his improvements, I think Urs kind of was robbed. And I'm a Brion fan. I agree with Wesley in first, but second and third, I will make a video on it again. I'll put a poll out.
Once again, to present the award, please welcome Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, let me put out a poll real quick. Okay, so go ahead and answer the poll. Was Urs robbed? And not specifically, was he robbed a third place? Was he robbed a second place? Just should he have placed higher? I was upset Urs robbed Brion. Now I'm upset Urs didn't win. Well, I mean, I think that shows some objectivity. Like, I try to be as objective as I can, so I kind of, I will admit, at the Olympia in the Arnold, Ohio, Brion should have placed higher. Here, I'll have to dissect them a little more, use some HD photos, but my initial reaction is I don't agree with this. You think Ramon would have been 2 or 3 if he was competing? I don't know. Brion in second is kind of an anomaly because I think I think Ramon can beat Brion, but I think Urs and Ramon, would have been the better battle. Brion, the most complete classic physique competitor of all time. The problem is he's losing a little bit of legs now, and I think they were even worse here than they were in Ohio. I gave him props for bringing them up for Ohio, but here I think they regressed just slightly. That's funny as hell. Urs looks so good at finals. Too bad they don't judge finals. Yeah, what a waste, honestly. What a retarded decision. Okay, but let's listen into Wesley's victory speech. Well, 1 second. Honestly, I prefer Brion, even if Urs improved, Brion was robbed last time. But even an improved Urs can't beat Brion. The difference in the front double and back double is just too much. Those are definitely 2 key wins for Brion. Key win. But I think some people would now give Urs the front double because of the way he changed his posing and how he looks a bit fuller. I personally wouldn't. I'm kind of with you on those 2 poses. But I prefer Brion also. Ciao. Thank you, Claudio. Number 2, though. Yeah. Make sure if you guys are leaving, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and definitely leave me your results in the poll because I think I want to use this in my video, so I definitely want you guys to vote in this poll. We need a comparison between Wesley, Olympia, and the Arnolds. No way he changed that much in a few months. I'm kind of with you on that as well. I don't think Wesley changed so much as the judging criteria, but Wesley did improve from the Olympia to the Arnold, but yeah, enough to leapfrog all these placings. I don't really know. Classic favors slightly taller guys. Brion sticks out as a shorter man. I agree. Some people will argue with me up all day that classic and bodybuilding height don't matter. They do. If you're taller and you can fill out your frame, it does matter. I mean, Urs looked much better than 2 weeks ago, and Brion looked about the same, which is still very impressive. But now Urs lost. Bodybuilding is very weird sometimes, in my opinion. Yeah, it's definitely... I don't really know what to make of the decision because, they come within 2 weeks of each other, but I want to see the scorecard for sure. I wish Wesley could taper off his waist a little. It's just straight. Yeah, exactly. He has the older school Y-frame. It's like big lats and shoulders and arms, wingspan, and then straight down. No real quad sweep, no real taper in the waist. Arnold's going to jump up there and smell like cheap liquor. Hey, buddy, you remind me of Mike Mincer. I think the lower body doesn't count as much in open, I guess. But yeah, it seems like that, but that just can't be the case. I know what you're saying, but I don't know. Now he's improved a lot. He can never come in dry or conditioned. Brion looks like a bodybuilder, not a classic physique competitor. I think if, honestly enough, if you were to say that about 2019 Brion, sure. But now I think he looks, kind of like a Robbie Robinson, in my opinion. Classic is just open with a weight cap, in all honesty. The most complete bodybuilder always wins, even in physique. that's the struggle, like when there's no clear judging criteria, that is the struggle, because the judges do want to be objective, at least they should be. And what are the most objective things besides being the most shredded, the most complete, and the most conditioned? So there isn't really any room for subjectivity, and then you start getting into kind of murky waters there. Is this it, or is Open coming out next? Nope. Open was already out. This is like the final event for the night. So we're going to end the stream soon. Open prejudging is already wrapped up. Hadi won. Hadi won, basically. We'll have finals tomorrow, but Hadi won. What time Open results come? It'll be tomorrow. I'll be streaming at 3, so check back in. But we won't know Open results until tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wesley is riding the hype train. My personal trainer said that he preferred Wesley to C-Bum now, and my trainer is Canadian. Yeah, that's just dumb. Like, I made a comparison about Wesley and C-Bum, and some people were trying to say Wesley could be... I had C-Bum winning 5-0. It's not close. Chris is just one of the most... I'm not even trying to glaze him right now, but Chris is just one of the most dominant athletes we've seen across any division. That's the point. Are there objective criteria for classic physique? Your guess is as good as mine. Who knows? All right, thanks, mate. Yep, no problem. In reality, I think classic physique is 90s era proportions with modern conditioning and 70s era posing. I think that's a good assessment. Wesley could never beat C-Bum. You argue with the people in my comment section because they swear up and down. People want to see C-Bum win. Once you become... Yeah, every team. Everyone loved LeBron for a while. Now I see more LeBron hate than anything. I don't think Wesley's going to be the GOAT. It's not even going to be close. Wesley still, in my opinion... I'm going to do this comparison too, but Olympia Ramon was going to beat Wesley, in my opinion. I haven't even done the comparison yet, but just from what I've seen in building the slideshow, I think it's going to be... not an easy time for Wesley to even get to C-Bum. Better than Wesley, but leaves a lot to be desired. Judging criteria for classic physique is whatever C-Bum's doing. That's fair. That is fair. Yeah, so I guess Arnold didn't do a speech with Wesley. Interesting, considering this was the main event tonight. Okay. Last call for everything. Last call for chat, super chats, whatever you guys want to do. I am going to end the stream soon so I can get to work on a prejudging recap and, a finals recap. Can't wait for the Olympia. Definitely these interesting results at the Arnold. Hadi bringing his best version ever. Wesley bringing his best version ever, even though it may not be super improved from the Olympia. Definitely shakes things up. We definitely have some contenders coming in for those titles, but I'm not so sure how much can change. Okay, have a good night. Have a good one. All right. Wesley's glutes lack from the hamstring and backside. Yeah, and part of it is to do with his posing. He looks retarded. Wesley got a goofy acne pox or knuckle. Well, have you seen his whatever the leg stance is in the rear double? For the love of God, please change it. It irks me so much. I'm actually looking forward to New York. I'm thinking about going to New York in person. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm thinking I kind of want to. I know Jake Ultimate Fitness is going to be there and so on. It's crazy to me that Alex Cambronero didn't show up at all. I think he's... I love Alex. I had him in my Olympia predictions. I had him as a sleeper pick for top 6 or top 5, and ended up placing 9th or 10th. It's just he's getting passed up. Alex kind of thrived off of the growing classic physique. Now that classic physique has really gotten a lot of big names, I don't think Alex is going to do as well. He has an imbalance in the back. The legs are getting worse. He's getting old. He is an older guy. He's not aging like Brion either, in my opinion. Who won? Who won Classic was Wesley. Yeah, Wesley won Classic Physique. All right. So, make sure you guys like the stream. Subscribe for more. Definitely gained a lot. I love doing the stream. This was a very good stream. Happy to see this. Yeah, in terms of who won the Open, the results weren't called yet, but yeah, and so to answer your question about Hadi, Hadi won. Like, the results were not called. Hadi has not officially won yet, but Hadi won. Like, if Hadi doesn't win, I would be extremely surprised. And it would be a straight up robbery, and no one is close enough. No one is even sniffing Hadi for finals to even matter. In my opinion, this is going to be another perfect score for Hadi. No one's even close. Honestly, look for someone to upset Samson before you look at Hadi to get upset. Good work, brother. Keep it up. Looking forward to the night show. Well, the night show's tomorrow, but I know what you mean. Because it is night over there in the UK. So we'll be back tomorrow. Back tomorrow here on this channel, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know where that is in your area, but it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be here with another stream for mainly open finals is what we'll be looking at there. But open prejudging was pretty short, so I don't think too much is going to change. Nice stream with 350 views at the peak. You're doing great. Love to see it. I love to see it as well. Love to see it. It's great. It's great. You guys were all great. Okay. Well, with that, I think I want to go ahead and end the stream. I want to thank you guys for coming in. Hit that like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. And remember, tomorrow, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be back on here, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're here, subscribe so that way you're notified. I'll see you guys tomorrow.